Today we have the Imperium. It is a slide assembly for Glocks made by a company called Spade. Spade is owned by a couple buddies of mine actually, and they wanted to release a Glock optic cut slide that has an integrally compensator into the assembly of the slide. And if we look down here, we got a clear gun, but if we back it up a little bit, you can see how tight the barrel is. It's actually kind of outward nozzled, so it's creating a low pressure system outside the barrel. And because it's such a tight tolerance and you got that low pressure system slightly opening up, even though you have this larger orifice here, where typically, if you look at like the Staccato XCs or other compensators, they're a lot tighter to the bore so that all the gases are being trapped behind the bullet itself, and the compensator has more compensation downward because it's trapping all that gas. Well, they've created a low pressure area and it's smooth and opens up past the muzzle. And even though that larger orifice is there to accommodate the unlocking of the barrel, it's a much tighter seal than what you see on the Sig Sauer X macros and the compensated SIGs that have a pretty significant air gap around the barrel. So it's not sealing off as well, and it's not diverting that pressure and flow through the low pressure system as efficiently as this one is. So as it moves and wants to escape into that low pressure and expand, this does have a fairly significant amount of compensation, what I would say, compared to the size of the ports and the style that SIG uses in their compensated pistol. So I think this is a much greater, more effectively improved system on having a slide that's compensated like this with a shorter barrel. And the cool thing about this slide is it fits Gen 1 through 5 Glocks. You can see here in the front, there's a plastic insert around where the recoil guide rod assembly sits. That insert can be removed to go from Gen 5s to Gen 3s. It's got ambidextrous slide stop cuts on the slide itself. And it comes fully assembled with an 18-pound recoil spring, and it's optic cut for Acros, RMRs, and 509Ts. So again, really good optics, really nice optic cut on it. Comes in this little packaging, the Imperium 9C. There's a QR code there for you if you want to go look up the specs on the website. It's a 416R stainless steel with a melanite QPQ finish. Cut rifled 1/16 left hand, 3¼ inch barrel. So those are the specs on the gun. It's clean, simple, nice big cocking serrations, really big window on the compensator. They have a really thick bridge here on the compensated port for stability, because if you drop this gun, they don't want the slide to bend, break, crack, lose material. So it's a lot more reinforced than like the Radian Ramjet or like the SIG ports on their slides. It's kind of a beefy little system here. I'm running the guide rod that came with it. I did order a Gen 3 18-pound recoil spring assembly tungsten guide rod because I like a little bit more weight in the front. I don't usually carry a weapon light, but since we have this here today for a review, we are going to run it out of our newest level 2 prototype holster. So we do have a couple other guns here just to show you some recoil patterning on it. This is not a scientific comparison. We're here just to talk about how it feels in the hand versus a 47 with an 18-pound spring and tungsten guide rod. I'm running the brass plug here. I like to balance my guns out, make the Glocks a little bit more balanced in the hand. And again, I don't typically run lights, but for the sake of this review, we're gonna run some lights out of this holster. We do have the Radian Ramjet here. This is the barrel and compensator assembly. It's 50 state legal, which is cool, but it's $450 for the assembly. It can be finicky with ammo. It can be finicky with feeding. And it's a $450 assembly just for a barrel and compensator for your already existent pistol. We also have a ZEV OZ9 Hyper Comp. This is the Icarus frame for the ZEVs. This has some mass to it, forward and aft. And again, I don't like to carry a light, but this is a very balanced gun. And it does have the 4 ports, but ported guns do not compensate as well as compensated guns. Long story short, we're just gonna test some different pistols against the angle spade. All right, let's get some rounds on it. Angle Spade No Light. My dot vertical movement was a lot tighter than having the light on it. This doesn't have I don't have the tungsten guide rod assembly in this one. This is just what comes with the Angle Spade. But that balance feels really nice in the setup. Put it on our, there we go. Just wanted to shoot a full-size frame. Way nicer. I mean, it sits really flat. Let's shoot some other Glocks. ZEV OZ9 Hyper Comp. This gun feels so good. Timony trigger. It's got all that weight to it. This guy has a lot of mass to it. This does compensate okay. I'd say they're fairly comparable in terms of compensation. It's got a lot of ass to it though. This thing is really comfortable. Let's do No Light Glock 47. More movement on the 47. Again, this is a shorter length of travel for a 17 length. So it's got the 19 length of travel, 19 length dust cover, full-size grip. I got the weight in there, tungsten guide rod up front. I wish it was the full-size 17 recoil spring assembly. I am running an occluded dot on this because I'm gonna do some competitions with this, but I had a lot more stable dot movement with the angled spade and with the ZEV OZ9 Hyper Comp. Just more mass, smoother guns, but we'll do the 19 slide with the 18-pound recoil spring assembly, with the tungsten guide rod, Radian Ramjet, with the full-size grip, no light. With this setup, you have a longer muzzle, you've got more mass hanging out the front of the gun. You got a slightly smaller port size. You're getting a little bit more velocity on the round. You're getting really, really good compensation. It's really tight to the back of the bullet, so it's trapping all those gases, but it's a $450 assembly for that. This gun sat, for me, my visual vertical limit on the dot was tighter on this gun with the full length grip than the Angle Spade by just a hair. Wasn't much, it wasn't very noticeable, but the Angle Spade was definitely a lot tighter than the ZEV. The ZEV had a little bit more orbital movement to how I was shooting it. This sat a lot nicer, had a nice return to zero. I was getting about, from my perspective on that target at 20 yards, I was getting about a 10-inch vertical on the dot, other than the couple drop shots that I had there from banging it a little too quick. That's my Carry Glock, Carry 19 slide assembly. So with that all being said, I think with this Angle Spade, you're getting a massive amount of value. You're getting a lot of compensation, a really good amount of compensation. Port size is really good. You can see the burn marks on it. It's getting the expansion. Comes fully assembled for 600 bucks. That's a pretty good value. I mean, it came with irons. It has a place. It has a place for sure. Anyway, you got to see our level 2 holster. You got to see the new angled Spade Imperium 9C slide that I believe came out today of filming. We just started doing bladderless injection molding for our outside the waistband Glock X300 holsters. So you get a really nice, nice trigger guard coverage. So you got these nice blisters here for your enhanced slide stops. Like I'm running a Cogworks here. Nice lockup, adjustable retention. Nice big old holster flare. Nice crisp lockup. These are the best loops to carry on any belt, gun belts or non-gun belts, is these pancake loops. They hug really nice and tight to the body when you're carrying, and they keep that gun nice sucked up into you. So great holster to carry in the winter months where you want to move a jacket out of the way to get to your gun rather than lifting everything out of the way for appendix. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I know that it's not some crazy new video of some newfangled gun that's coming out pretty soon in October, but there's some new shit coming out, guys. Hope you guys like to see some of these other Glocks that we have. This ZEV's pretty cool. This was a factory gift from ZEV a few years ago. Icarus makes some really cool frames. This new frame is pretty gangster, and it's got the tungsten rods in there to make it nice and fat. I'm gonna start shooting carry optics with a Glock a bit and see what happens. So this is a Glock 47 I built out for carry optics for PCSL and USPSA. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think of this new angled Spade Imperium.